Have you ever felt a relationship ending long before anyone said the words, not with a dramatic fight, not with slammed doors or broken promises, but with something softer, quieter, a message left unseen, a hug that ends a little too soon, a pair of eyes that used to light up when they saw you, now simply pass over you as if you are part of the furniture. Most people wait for the big explosion to admit the truth. They wait for the breakup conversation, for the final argument. But love rarely ends like that. It almost always ends in silence first. In this story, we will walk into that silence. We will uncover two hidden signs that a love is gently fading, two shifts so subtle that most people only understand them in hindsight. If you notice them early, you are given a sacred choice. You can either cling and suffer, or you can wake up, stand in your own light, and let this ending become the beginning of a deeper life. Stay with me, because the second sign is the one nobody talks about. And once you see it, you will never look at love in the same way again. Imagine this: you are sitting beside someone you once called home. The television hums quietly in the background. Your phones rest between you like small, glowing islands. You remember a time when you would have talked for hours, shared secrets, argued playfully about nothing, planned trips you never took but loved to dream about. Tonight, it is different. They scroll, you scroll. A question hangs in the air, but no one bothers to ask it. You notice the distance first with small things. They eat in another room. They laugh at their screen, not at your jokes. They say, "I'm just tired," more often than "Tell me about your day." No one is cruel, no one is unkind, but the space between you has quietly grown a spine. You tell yourself it's a busy season, they're stressed, it's just a phase. Maybe that is true. But deep in your chest, something feels off. Unsteady. It is like standing by the ocean at dusk and realizing the tide has been pulling away from you. Not all at once, but inch by inch, hour by hour, for a very long time. This is the first silent sign, a gentle, persistent distance. Not a fight, not a wound, a drift. Think of two trees that once grew side by side. Their branches crossed each other, their leaves tangled in the same wind. Birds saw them as one patch of shade, one living presence. Over the years, something subtle happens. The ground shifts, the light changes, the wind favors a different direction. One tree leans just a little away, not out of anger, not out of rejection. It simply follows the light it now needs. Their branches still touch sometimes. The wind still sings through both of them, but they no longer grow toward each other. They simply stand near each other, living separate lives in the same soil. This is how distance begins in many relationships. Not with betrayal, not with cruelty, but with small, repeated choices to turn inward or turn away. Less shared laughter, fewer spontaneous touches, conversations that revolve around tasks, logistics. What time will you be home instead of dreams, fears, silly stories, and soul-level questions? It rarely announces itself, it just accumulates. There was once an elderly woman who spoke about this kind of distance. For most of her life, her husband was by her side. They went to the market together, cooked together, argued over which tea to buy, then bought both. As the years passed, she noticed something quiet. He spent more and more time alone in a small room working on his hobbies. Their shared evenings grew shorter. Their conversations became fewer. He did not become cruel. He did not stop loving her overnight, but the way he shared himself changed. Looking back, she realized the distance did not begin the day they finally spoke about it. It began years earlier in the unspoken corners, in the moments where both of them chose comfort over connection, silence over the difficult conversation they knew they needed to have. Distance is a slow sculptor. It carves relationships in the dark. Here is where ancient wisdom whispers softly in your ear. In Buddhist teachings, everything is seen as changing. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is guaranteed to remain as it is. Not our bodies, not our beliefs, not our feelings, not even the way two hearts meet in the middle. At first, that thought can feel terrifying. You want something solid to hold on to. You want a promise that never expires. But impermanence is not a punishment. It is simply the way life moves. A connection that was once your whole world can gently become a chapter instead of the entire book. If you don't understand this, you might cling harder the moment you sense distance. You might beg, demand, chase, or shrink. You might start checking their messages, overanalyzing their tone, stalking their energy. All of this comes from fear. Fear of change, fear of endings, fear of being left behind while life moves on. But there is another way to meet this first sign, a quieter way. When you sense distance, instead of asking, "How do I drag them back to me?" begin by asking, "What is actually happening here? What has shifted in our reality? How have I changed? And how have they?" When you notice the drift without attacking it, you step out of panic and into awareness. You stop treating the distance as an enemy and start seeing it as information. And yet, distance is only the beginning. There is another sign, a deeper one, more subtle, more painful. It doesn't start in their schedule, it starts in their eyes. There comes a moment when you look at someone you love and realize that the way they see you has changed. They still say your name, they still kiss your cheek, they still sit across from you at dinner. But something in the way they look at you no longer matches the way they used to hold you in their heart. This is the second sign, the shifting gaze, the quiet change in perception. Think about a picture on your wall. When you first put it there, you noticed it every day. You admired the colors, the texture, the story it told. After a while, your eyes pass over it. You know it is there, you still like it, but the sense of wonder has faded. The image has not changed. Your perception has. In love, this happens too. Someone who once saw you as their miracle might slowly come to see you as ordinary. Someone who once admired your flaws as cute may now experience them as annoying. Where they once saw depth, they may now see difficulty. Where they once saw mystery, they may now see inconvenience. It can be as subtle as the speed of their reply, the way they no longer ask follow-up questions about your day, the way their eyes stay dull when you share something that lights you up. One man once tried to describe this shift. In the beginning, he said whenever he walked into a room, his partner's eyes changed. They brightened, softened. There was a spark that silently said, "There you are. I'm glad it's you." Years later, the light changed. Her eyes still met his, but there was distance in them. Not anger, not disgust, just a polite warmth. The way you look at someone you used to know deeply, but now know mostly from memory. He said it felt like she was looking not at him, but at an old photograph of him that no longer matched who he was. That is the silent earthquake, the moment the inner gaze shifts. In deeper teachings, there is an idea that nothing and no one has a fixed, permanent essence. Who you are in someone's mind is a moving picture, a story that constantly rewrites itself based on their past, their pain, their growth, their fears, their hopes. This can sound very painful. You might ask, if nothing is solid, what can I trust? You can trust this perception is fluid, yours and theirs. The person who once needed you to feel whole may one day learn to feel whole without you. The person who once idealized you may one day see your humanity more clearly. Their gaze reflects their inner world, not your worth. When a loved one's perception shifts, you might feel it before you can explain it. Maybe your stomach tightens around them. Maybe you feel strangely lonely in their presence. Maybe conversations that used to be easy now feel like walking on thin ice. You tell yourself you are imagining it. You accuse yourself of being too sensitive. But the heart often knows before the mind. There is a quiet inner voice that keeps saying, "This is not the same." This is where many people fall into a trap. They treat the change in perception as a verdict on their value as a human being. I'm not enough, I'm too much, I should have been different from the beginning. They spiral into comparison, shame, and self-hate. But what if this shift is not a punishment? What if it is a mirror showing you a truth you were not ready to see? The way they see you has changed. The deeper question is, can you allow the way you see yourself to change too? So now you have noticed it, the distance, the different gaze. What do? Most people do the opposite of what would bring them peace. They grasp. They clutch the relationship like a handful of sand. The tighter they squeeze, the faster it slips through their fingers. They say, if I call more, text more, prove more, give more, maybe I can drag this love back to where it used to be. But love is not a piece of furniture you can drag back into place if you pull hard enough. It is more like water. It flows where it must. It refuses to be held captive in a clenched fist. There's an image of trying to stop a river with your bare hands. You plant your feet, you push against the current, you exhaust yourself. In the end, the water still moves towards the ocean. The only thing you have changed is the level of suffering inside your own body. So what is the alternative? It is not coldness. It is not pretending you never cared. It is something much braver, non-clinging. Non-clinging means this. You allow reality to be as it is, even when it does not match the story you wanted. You do what you can with integrity. You communicate. You show up as honestly as you are able. You take responsibility for your part. And then, you stop chasing what is walking away. You let the river flow. There was once a grandmother who watched her grandson fall apart after a breakup. He flooded his ex with messages. He checked her social media 10 times a day. He replayed their memories on a loop in his head. His grandmother sat with him one evening, listened to his heartbreak, and said gently, "You are running after a train that has already left the station. You will not stop it by running faster. You will only fall and hurt yourself. Turn around. Look at the road beneath your own feet. That is where your life actually is. Letting go is not about making the other person wrong. It is not about proving you never needed them. It is about redirecting your precious energy back into your own life instead of pouring it into a door that is already closed. You stop asking, how do I keep them, and begin asking, how do I keep myself? When a relationship fades, a strange emptiness appears. The bed feels wider. The house sounds louder. The hours stretch. In that emptiness, you have a choice. You can rush to fill it with noise. Rebound relationships, endless scrolling, numbing habits, or you can do something few people dare to do. You can listen. Listen to the silence that now wraps around your life. Listen to the parts of you that could not speak when the relationship was alive. Sometimes what hurts most is not the loss of the other person. It is the loss of the version of yourself that only existed when you were with them. Who are you now without their gaze deafening you? There was once a man who walked out of a long marriage and felt completely erased. For years, his identity had been husband, provider, partner. When that role vanished, he felt like a house with all the lights turned off. Little by little, he began to experiment. He took old hobbies out of storage. He called friends he had neglected. He tried new things that had nothing to do with who he used to be. At first it felt forced, awkward, pointless. Then slowly something shifted. He laughed one day and realized he hadn't thought about his ex for several hours. He sat alone in a cafe and felt peaceful. Not complete, not fixed, but gently present. He later realized that the end of that relationship, which once felt like a death, had become the doorway to a self he had never fully met. The emptiness became a garden, and in that garden, new seeds finally had room to grow. Love does not vanish when a relationship ends, it changes form. The love you once poured into one person can become a fierce love for your own healing, a tender love for close friends and family, a creative love that spills into artwork, service, or learning. Even grief is a form of love. It is love with nowhere to go except back into your own chest. There was once an artist who lost her partner of many years. At first, she could not paint. Every canvas felt like a lie. Her world was gray. As time passed, she stopped trying to move on and instead allowed herself to move through. She cried in front of blank canvases. She spoke to the air as if her partner were still listening. She used their favorite colors mixed with the colors of her own sorrow. What emerged was not the art she used to make. It was deeper, raw, honest. She realized that the love they had shared had not been buried. It had changed shape. It lived in her choices, in how gently she spoke to others in pain, in the way she allowed herself to feel fully and still walk forward. The relationship ended. The love became wider. So now we return to you. Perhaps you are sensing distance in a relationship right now. Messages are shorter, plans are fewer. Your connection feels more like a routine than a living pulse. Perhaps you have noticed the gaze has changed. They look at you as if you are a chapter they have already read too many times. Perhaps you are the one whose gaze has shifted. You still care, but something in you has quietly stepped back. Your heart is already halfway out the door, even if your body is still there. What if instead of judging this, you met it with radical honesty? You could ask, what is this distance trying to show us? Where did we stop meeting each other fully? Are we willing to rebuild not from nostalgia, but from who we truly are now? Sometimes two people see the distance, face it together, and create a new kind of relationship that is deeper than the first. Sometimes one person is already gone in spirit, and the kindest thing you can do is stop clinging to their shadow. In both cases, the path that brings peace is the path of clarity, not denial. You deserve a love that is present, alive, attentive, and you deserve to be that kind of presence for yourself first. So here at this quiet point in the story, I will leave you with a few questions. Where in your life have you been trying to hold back the tide? Where have you been reading the same chapter even though your heart knows the book has moved on? And where might a gentle ending be secretly opening the door to a beginning you cannot yet imagine? The two silent signs are there: the growing distance and the shifting gaze. They do not come to punish you. They come to invite you into a more honest relationship with reality and with yourself. If you choose to listen, if you choose to release what is already walking away, you may discover something unexpected. The love you thought you were losing might be returning home. Not to another person, but to the one who has been waiting for it all along. You. And when that happens, every future connection you create will be born. Not from fear of being alone, but from the quiet power of a heart that finally knows its own worth. This chapter may be closing, but your story is not over. In another night, in another tale, we will explore why some endings feel so unfair, and how beneath the surface life might be guiding you toward a place you would never have chosen. but will one day be grateful to call home.